Well, good afternoon. It's 5:55 p.m. on 7/7/7. That's the July 7th or the 7th of July 2014. And I have the ambassador on the line with me, and he's going to uh, talk to you about what's going on from his perspective and what we might have to look forward to. I did want to ask him a question because I've been getting a lot of people that have been writing to me asking me to present to the ambassador a program that they have developed, a humanitarian program or whatever, and they'd like it reviewed and funded so that they can launch this. And so the question is, how can I get this off the ground, or what can I do to help the world situation? And so I'm going to throw that open to the ambassador and let him answer that, and then go wherever he chooses to go.
Yes, it is possible to have arranged funding for their projects. It's a process that you need to go through. What I recommend you to do is to give a small introduction of your business plan, send it over to you. I will give it over to our teams that work with this, and they will have a look at it. And then if it is something that we find feasible and that it's really a use for humanity, this type of project or technology, we would in that time, take direct contact so that we could find ways to find the funding for it. Okay, because this type of things can be funded already at this point of time. If it's something that is beneficial for the humanity, it can be done now. Some other cases, so unfortunately, they have to wait until the 5 continental what is called offices for this particular type of things will be established in each continent, and later in each country, where you, as an inventor, as a person which wants to contribute with their own business and so on, can submit files to us, ask for loans without interest, okay, and funding, okay.
Let me just interject something here. When I was working as a Swiss Indo delegate, we created CVAC programs, which is Creation Value Asset Centers, for the 5 continents. And we envision having people set up on each, experts in various fields, set up on each continent to handle such queries and to provide funding for them. Now, I don't really care. I mean, we thought it was going to come from Swiss Indo, but quite honestly, as long as it happens for the benefit of humanity, I personally don't care where the funding comes from and where the vision comes out of it. It doesn't matter who the players are. It only matters that we accomplish the goal. Do you want to speak to that?
I mean, this is the thing, is that wherever, even if it would come from Swiss Indo, it still would come from us. So in that regard, it doesn't really matter. I think even the concept of the 5 continental working groups is not the news. This is something that the family has been planning for many, many years. And I wouldn't be surprised if the idea came from that, this family discussions between each other, that this SD came into the mind of Mr. Sino. I cannot say that it was like that, but I wouldn't be very surprised if it was.
So you wouldn't be surprised if he actually had contact with certain levels of the family when he was developing some of the ideas that he was putting forward?
I'm quite sure that he had some form of connection with someone. And what was their intent, why they did it, and what, so on. That's between Sino and his master, okay?
Okay.
So, but whoever that is, that was whispering in his ears, that one day we might know. But the main important thing here is, like I stated so many times, is that we have to put away all the egos that people have. I do not have anything personally against Mr. Sino. We had this discussion many times. And I hope that, if he has a plan which is good, and if he doesn't misuse funds in a more manner, it would be good for humanity, then I think that is a good thing. You know, we do not compete of being the unique ones, and if he can contribute something good to the society, so you know, in that case, we all for that. Understand? And that's the same thing with everyone who wants to contribute to a better world without the influence of the cabal and the 666. You know, and you know, we have seen a lot of ugly things this last years, and
Yeah, indeed.
and you know, people that unfortunately has been putting us down by, you know, by their own actions. But I think that I hope and pray that everyone will be able to comprehend the system of 555 and be awakened by it and start realizing that they are themselves, you know, the source of and root of evil and good, and that every human being has the free will, and maybe this time you should use the will of good and contribute with this will of good unitively in a cooperation all over the borders. You know, we have many different religions on the planet and many different cultures and many different colors of people. And also by talking about that, I would like to wish the Muslims Ramadan Mubarak and blessings to them during their holy month when they are fasting. And I hope that their blessings will help humanity to come free. And I hope that the Muslims will go deep inside themselves and start studying the Quran and realize that as Muslims they have responsibilities. They should follow the teaching of Holy Prophet Muhammad, where he stated that it's up to God to decide who is a Muslim and who is not a Muslim. So they should not.
Well, that's true of Christians and Jews and Buddhists and Hindus and all of the religions. The true one of the heart is it's always up to God to decide.
Yes, and that's very important now, since we see the rise of this cabal organized ISIS and similar organizations around the world, who has an ambition on distorting and you know, like infaming the name of Islam in the world. That they should turn themselves to the holy book, especially during the month of Ramadan, and try to get enlightenment from God, and you know, try to find themselves and you know, do good for humanity. I said it many times, you know, you cannot win hearts by killing and pushing and torturing others. If you want to win hearts, do it by put a good example, educate yourself. The way that the family look at things is that we want to wage a war against ignorance. Okay? Because the cabal has been keeping the masses ignorant, being them focused on TV, focused on radio, on parties, on celebrations, on celebrities. And just like in the old days of the Roman Empire with their, you know, their big colosseums, when the slaves went there to celebrate and forget that they were slaves. Now we have to come out of this same dark ages. And I hope that the Muslim countries will come out of their dark ages and inspire into what it used to be before the European dark ages again. A spiritually enlightened people that believes in the one God and live in peace with their neighbors, and set example and make people convert to their religion by the example of their actions, not by forcing them or killing them. That will never work with anyone. So this is my advice to the Muslim brothers and sisters on this planet today that has suffered so much due to the cabal, that today is the puppet of the cabal, that break away from your masters. Do not allow them to use you in the way that they do. Do not fight these wars against your brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter if they're Shia, Sunni, or Wahhabi, or Salafi, or Sufi, whatever they are, or Ahmadiyya. Live with good example. Try to win people's heart by your good deeds, not by slaughtering them and crucifying them.
I would encourage the same thing for Christians. I mean, yes. It seems like Christians and Muslims are the ones that are at each other's so often throughout history. And there needs to be that kind of a healing among the Christian groups too. You named a bunch of factions or sects in Islam. I mean, I could name probably 100 in Christianity, but I'm not going to. Take too long. But we need to get back to the base and to the root of what our the major teachers in these religions taught. Which, if we did, we would have peace on earth.
No, we have to look at the common things that we have. We have a common forefathers in the religious branch of the Abrahamic religions, starting with Judaism, later on coming into Christianity. And, then you had the follow-up there with Islam. Many people doesn't know that, but actually Jesus was one of the most mentioned names in the Quran. And I don't see why Muslims should go in the way as the forefathers did in the past by crucifying anyone or by attacking anyone. Also in the second surah in Islam, it states clearly that it's no force inside the religion. So what does that mean? That means you cannot force anyone to convert, you cannot force anyone to get married or force anyone to do anything. Everything has to be done with your free will. And since I'm now focusing on the Muslims, it's because, as I said, this is the holy month of Ramadan, when people are fasting and reading the Quran and spending times with their families. And I recommend that people should do that. Spend the time with their families, read the Quran, pray, ask God for forgiveness, and try to find peace in the Middle East, and try to find peace with your neighbors, and try to win heart by love, not by threats and violence. And do not work and support any more of the cabal and their ambitions to destroy and to start wars in the Middle East.
Or anywhere else on earth.
Exactly. And I hope also that our Christian listeners also will also stop aggressing on the Muslims and stop buying into this propaganda scare tactics things that is coming from the West media with them and us, and we have to save ourselves against these savages, and we have to do this, we have to do that. No, you people have done enough harm during this last 2,000 years. Maybe it's time for you guys to calm down and live by the teachings of Jesus, spread love, and if you get smacked, give your other chin back to them too, instead of taking up arms and bombing people to pieces. And same thing in Ukraine. I hope that the Ukrainians, the Russians that have lived with each other for so many years can find peace. I don't want to see another Balkan crisis. And it's always sickening to see that people that used to be neighbors and friends now, slaughtering and raping and killing each other because of some race issue. I think it's time that we humans have learned from these race killings and race riots. And we should go into a global new arena where we are a global human, a global religion, a global people, and a world of peace.
One race, the human race.
Yes. And that's what is my ambition, and this is my hope. And I also hope that the Buddhists in Myanmar will stop killing the Muslims over there. And same thing in Thailand and other places. And I hope that we can find peace in Indonesia too, that there should not be any more fighting. I hope that the terrorist attacks that was happening in China with other Muslim groups sponsored by the cabal to make problems. I want the religions to stop aggressing on each other. Everyone should realize that we have one creator. One day we all will face him. And we need to take responsibility for our fellow humans, and we need to find peace inside of ourselves first. So when we have peace inside of ourselves, then we can spread peace to others. And we should live by example. And like I said so many times, that one without sin threw the first stone. This is the word of Jesus. And I think that there's no human on the planet that is ready enough to throw a stone at someone. So that's why we should try to follow the teachings of the wise prophets that were sent to God to us. Everyone, even if it was Buddha or if it was Krishna or whoever it was that came with some enlightenment. We should learn from these people, and we should learn from all humans and all cultures, and try to interbreed and try to be, a one world and one human race, and not look into the differences and telling people you need to integrate into our society. No, we need to include people into our society.
Yes. You're giving a message of peace, which I think is what I'm going to title this one. I want to go back to some discussions we've had in regard to the Internal Revenue Service. You know that when I interviewed Mr. Sugi, Mr. Sino, and he said that he had given vouchers to the IRS, I almost fell through the floor. I couldn't believe that he was dealing with that outfit. And there's been recent discussions in regard to the IRS, whether it's a government agency or not a government agency. And the research that I've done is it never was a legitimate agency of the U.S. government. And I even have found legal documents supporting that. Even the United States attorneys say that the IRS is not part of the United States government. And I've seen that in actual court documents. Do you have anything that you might want to say to dealing with these kind of entities that have been used by the cabal to harvest energy from people?
Yes, my feeling is quite clear on these corporations. Let's call them what they are. They're corporations.
Yeah.
We are all created equally on this planet. And depending which country you're born in, you have a certain debt the first second you breathe when you come out of your mother. We say that we do not inherit sin. So how come we are inheriting debt from people? Okay. Now, the problem is this way, is that if these corporations would be legal, if these corporations, we say, yes, that these people are true, this is correct, that, this corporation has the right to do it. That makes all of us slaves. It makes us as slaves as the firstborn we are living. So, but also it's a prophet that states in the end times, we should be living in the biggest slavery on the planet, but we would not even know that we are slaves. And we are in that period of time right now. Many times
victims of a slave system.
Yes. The problem that I see is that many countries, almost all of them are registered corporations. Many registered in the United States, giving their things to another sovereign entity or all their, bookkeepings and everything they do, even paying taxes to some other country for their corporation. Now the problem is this way. I have always wondered how come that no journalist ever have made a groundbreaking investigation into all these unlawful corporations.
Well, there have been, but they don't get published in the mainstream media.
Exactly. But this is what I'm stating. You can use your own mind here. Say that you have a corporation. This corporation has arranged another corporation, which take your money. Now, unfortunately, the world is like that. That the one that has the weapons and has the prisons and have the people, if you don't do like they tell you, they throw you in prison. Okay. If I decide that this is an unlawful corporation and it's nothing legal with IRS, and I refuse to pay my taxes, they have still the guns and they still have the power to throw me in prison. Okay. Now, at this point of time, the only way to change this is by people do not take part, and that people raise this up and say that we had enough. Understand? Not only one person, but there's one person and then finally he's going to probably end up in prison. But if many people do it, and also the people work.
Then we had 50 million people doing it all at the same time. I think that would make an impact.
Yes. And I think also that it would be important also that the people that works inside of this criminal organization should put it to the forefront and say, this is a criminal organization we don't want, but people are scared for losing their salaries and things. But we humans has to take responsibility for each other. if we're gonna look at all rapes going on and just allow it to happen, then we are as bad as the person that is raping this person. So we need to awaken, and this is, like I said, a war against ignorance. What do we mean with a war against ignorance? We mean, people, for example, that like ISIS. A real Muslim would never take part in such an organization. But how do they know? Because many of them are ignorant. We need these people to be re-educated. They need to have a proper leader who is educated in the proper teachings of Islam to educate them. Same thing with Christians, same thing with Allah. We need to have, and I'm calling for the upfront, real religious leaders on the planet, and also politicians that has the intention, and the military people too, and police officers that has the attention and believes in their duties to do the good for humanity, that they should be awakened from this ignorance and do not cooperate anymore and arrest the criminals that's supposed to be arrested. I saw today an article about Sarkozy, the French president, being arrested.
Yes.
And
I mentioned that in Fulford's report also today.
Yeah. And also, we should know that the head of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, is involved in the same investigation. So let's see what's happening with her. Now, many politicians, unfortunately, do not have a clean thing. You see, in the United States, you have a problem there that every scandal that they try to, cancel that scandal with some good thing, that new thing becomes a new scandal. And the scandal, never seems to exist and stop to exist. Now, of course, we have to realize that this is deception. Okay? The thing is this, where you have a person coming down like Mr. McCain, a Nazi, going to the ISIS Syria, supporting them, and now he wants to fight with ISIS, Iraq. If these people want so desperately to fight, I think we should arm them and let them fight.
Yeah, can you imagine all the world leaders battling it out with each other? That'd be one way to get rid of them.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Maybe we should bring them all to Hamageddon, to the valley there, and give them a sword, each of them, and tell them, now you fight out a few differences. The winner takes it all. Okay? And, and I don't think that there's going to be many politicians and many people coming there. Okay? It's like I said many times, why don't we put some of these cartoon characters in the ring with Mr. Putin to fight off their differences? I think Putin would probably say yes, but them I doubt. The thing is this way, is that we have to all, work together to find a better humanity. We need also to fight with financial tyranny. The financial tyranny is quietly well settled with IRS, well settled with the corporation systems, with the banking system, the way that human beings have stopped living with their families and serving their families instead of they're serving, consumerism. People cannot be happy unless they're buying things or they're going to celebrations or going to this. We have to find love and peace with our own families. And this is what I try to say. It's important that people should be able to work a few hours per day, and then have a few hours where they can spend with their families and basically contribute to raising their own kids and give their kids good values. And this is what the problem today is, that the children doesn't have a childhood. They don't have a fair chance to grow up to be good humans, because they never had any parents, because they were either in an institution being raised by other people that probably doesn't really care for them, or the people that's supposed to take care of them, their own parents. Some countries has good systems to assist the children in the small years, but I don't see why we can't do that globally. We have the money to do it. Yeah,
the rites of passage that used to be part of the human culture in bygone era don't even exist for most people in the modern era, and there's something lost in those rites of passage that honor the human as they develop and as they grow up, to introduce them into society in a healthy way. I mean, all of that is gone in our modern culture.
No, unfortunately, you know, it's hard in this world where everything is focused around money. And
Yeah.
that's why it's also one thing that we need to set ourselves free from that. Because money do not buy happiness. It's just so many cars you can own, just so many houses you can own. And you know, it is the thing that really sets people free is to spend time together with their families and to share love in the families. And, you know, and to have all people being able to have a partner in their life to share their life with and share love with and emotions. This society that we have today, unfortunately, is based on a chase for survival. We need to chase to survive to pay our bills and our debts. And also, as you know, most of the debts is also on legal. And, you know, and so it is a slavery system that is horrific. When the cabal, you know, killed the Christian banking a few hundred years ago and then succeeded to do it in Russia, was the last front of the Christian banking. And today we have what we could call the Judo banking, you know, the banking created by the Jewish cabal. And that's basically what we have now. Yes, some Asian banks are now taking parts in Sharia banking and try to enforce that. Sharia banking and Christian banking is basically the same thing. And the thing is this way that we need as humans to try to cooperate and do the things that is good. If we have a good cooperation system, then we do it. It's like we have had to do now. You know, we could not take the old system and believe that the old system would do the changes. So we had to instruct them to do so, but at the same time, we had to set up a new system side by side that could take over.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Ambassador. I read that the BRICS nations, which are becoming more and more powerful, are ready to launch actually this month a new banking system that will be side by side with the Federal Reserve and that whole conglomerate of banks. Is the Dragon family involved in that, or
Yes,
are you aware of that?
yes, this is the forefront ID. So this is what I'm stating to you before, that we do not sit here to make promises, but you will see what we do with our actions. So this is a thing that's been planned for a long time, and now you're seeing the last steps on it. And I hope that this last step's going to be able to be done without wars, without problems. Now, why do you think we have all these problems in the world? It's just a diversion for us to not be able to set ourselves free. You know, if everything is allowed to take the normal pace, we will be able to have a good financial system very, very soon. You know, and you know, we should try to do our best to that. And it's like I stated also, you know, to the family people, is, you know, remit and surrender. Okay.
You mean the family people that are are still part of the cabal or haven't completely gone over to the humanitarian aspect of the family?
Exactly. I said remit and surrender, and allow you children to live on a prosperous planet. We need to clean up this planet now. We need to stop HARP. We need to stop all these different type of things. We need to stop the gene manipulated food. We need to go into real medications. We need to do a lot of things to change humanity and to let us live up to our full potential. Maybe it's time for human beings to start traveling outside space again. Maybe it's time for us to do other ventures together. Maybe we should work together to protect the planet against foreign threats. And we need to do a lot of things that to do together before it's too late. You know, what use is it if you know, we waste all this time fighting, and when we next week need to try to save majority of the people in the United States? We need right now to be able to make it possible for people in different regions to survive what's coming. And the ones that is trying to make it come faster, I please tell you, cease and desist. Stop doing this. Everyone working in these different projects around the world, cease and exist. Okay? Do not cooperate anymore with evil. And don't think that they will care about your children, okay, and your families. So please stop with this madness. And same thing is for the people that is poisoning our skies and our waters. Stop with this madness. You're killing your own families. And so, you know, with a promise that, oh, we will take your family with us, don't believe in it. Okay? And I hope that this time, in this transition time that we are now, that we will not need to go the same road as we did in the Second World War to settle things, okay, and rebuild with a Marshall Plan. Now let's try to do the Marshall Plan to rebuild the earth as it is today, and let's make a global war on ignorance, financial tyranny, okay, and stop focusing on ourselves, that we are the unique one. Everyone is unique in their way, but we don't need new rulers. We don't need new people to be our new masters and slaves. The masters that we have today do not have any ambitions on slavery.
The real masters.
People. Yes, exactly. So it's important now that let us follow through with this 1,000 years of liberation. And let's work together to assist each other to save this planet and to save humanity as whole. And we have a lot of external threats and internal threats also. Let's eliminate them. Let's United Nations work for the first time in its history.
Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing?
Yes, that it would be a wonderful thing. And, make it stop being that type of puppet, ridiculous entity that it has been in the past. Let it be something that is useful for the humans, where the brightest men and women can sit together to find solution for the real problems on the earth, instead of sitting and arguing over territories and religions and oil and fuel and food and things, when we can work together that no one needs to start. So let's try to get the things done in a proper way. And that's basically what, like I say, we all, everyone who's listening to it, are a part of a change. We all need to change. We all need to bless everything we do. We all need to love our neighbors. We all need to do what we can do to assist each other in this. And any help in any way that people can contribute to us, we are welcome for assistance, as well as we will do all we can to assist you all people. And we will see performance. You see performance already, but you will see even more changes coming. But rest assured, we are facing a lot of obstacles because the old ones do not want to let go, you know.
Even though you're telling them to cease and desist. And I'd
Yes.
like to tell them the same thing.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yeah. So I hope and pray that that we will be able to wake up one morning with the good news of the cancellation of all these different entities.
And the cancellation of all the fictitious debt.
Yes, that's one thing. And it's maybe we to rewrite some things, but we cannot just live in a society where the only thing we survive on is creating debt.
Yeah.
So we need to have a new system where we are working with trading to get rid of debt. And that's basically the new system that's going to be. So let us pray and work together, all of us. I'm reaching out to every single person that works in the similar field that I do. Try to work together, don't work against. The ones that is on the side of a cabal, claiming to be a part of us, or whatever they are, you know yourselves best. Turn to do the correct thing, change yourself, work together, and we will be finding a better humanity. When we're fighting each other all the time about our own egos, about our own positions, about our own things, we are not much better than the cabal. So please, everyone, work together, and let's make this a better world.
Thank you very much. I agree very much with what you've shared, and I thank you for taking the time once again. Hopefully soon we'll be able to do one from Hong Kong with you and with the Red Dragon and the historian and the master or the old man. It's a beautiful thing what's happening on the planet. If we focus on that, that does help to accelerate the changes, I believe, and stop, as you said, cooperating with those that are trying to be destructive and to aggress, as you always say, on others. Thank you very much.
Also, which is very important thing is that I wanted to state for people, and you can testify for that, is that we like the people to use the free will. We do not force anyone to, to go after our way. We try to show our way. We show what we coming for. We're putting by living by example. The ones who wants to join us and join our way, you're welcome to do so. Understand? And I hope that your life story, Ron, would assist people in this transformation and get to learn, and new experiences that you will have in China and in Hong Kong will be helping the people to understand the family better, and at the same time also helping the people to feel a part of it too. Okay.
Yes, as I said, thank you very much, and I thought it was a very good conversation, and you need to get some rest because it's a lot later where you are than it is where I am, and you need to get some sleep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and namaste.
Okay. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.